I really want today's vlog to be a source of encouragement for all you beginner and aspiring filmmakers. I know that it's hard to even just start.
Mommy? How about Mommy?
She's coming too. On our way into Michelle's final midwife appointment. Okay, that works. Well, that's done. Going back home now. All right, so we made it home. After getting some lunch in me, I'm ready to head back to work. I just wanted to take a moment. I really want today's vlog to be a source of encouragement for all you beginner and aspiring filmmakers. I know that it's hard to even just start, you know, and for me, there's been a lot out there that has been such a great source of encouragement and inspiration. And I think those two things, encouragement, inspiration, are really what you need right now. And so I really just want to share insights, some tips, if you will, that will be a source of encouragement as you begin. When I was in high school, about almost 20 years ago now, I was on the wrestling team, and I never really was into sports as a younger kid, so I was definitely out of my league. I was pinned in every single one of my matches, so it was quite embarrassing actually. I remember feeling like such a failure. And then it came to the last match of the season. My head coach, he thought it was a good idea for me to wrestle a girl. Now, I had wrestled her previously in the season at a tournament, but the tournament, you can't, if you win, if you pin, you can't let her. So he was trying to help me out since this time I could let her.
You don't stop and look around once in a while.
Well, that night I lost. I lost to a girl. And if that's not humiliating enough, I lost in front of my entire high school. And you know, the biggest regret that I have in my life comes from that experience. But the funny thing is, it doesn't come from the fact that I joined the wrestling team, that I regret forever joining, or I regret wrestling a girl, or I regret losing in front of my high school. Actually, the regret comes from quitting. Because the next year I started the wrestling team again. But this time I didn't push through another season, another year. I just quit. And now I look back at that experience and I just wonder. What would it have been like if I would have pushed through that second year? If I would have endured another year of failure. So I just want to use that story as inspiration and encouragement for you to push through and do the work, because it's very true. There's some wise words that say if you don't quit in doing good, you will reap a harvest of good. So with that, I want to leave you with some quick tips. And so, number one, just do it. Whatever it is, whatever your project is, just do it. Learn by doing. There is a pretty successful writer-director by the name of Robert Rodriguez. He made his first film, El Mariachi, which then became the big hit, the big Hollywood hit, Desperado. And really, he went down to Mexico with the intention of making that his practice film. In fact, he says in an interview that he didn't want to go down with a big crew, even though there were people that wanted to help him, because he didn't want to fail in front of all these people. but instead he wanted to make it a source of practice. And besides that, focus on your next level. Don't focus on, I'm gonna compare myself to, you know, Joe Schmo, who created this big, glorious, perfect thing. I can never measure up to that, so therefore I suck. But instead, focus that energy inward on yourself and your own skill level, and see where you're at and see where you want to go. And once you start doing that, you start building upon your own skill set instead of other people, and that becomes then more practical, that becomes more pragmatic, that becomes something more achievable, as opposed to me trying to compare myself, my first year, to somebody else's 10 or 20th year. It's just unproductive. Point number 2. Sorry, I had to run inside because I had to get a replacement battery for this lovely piece of gear I have here. Don't fear failure. If you're gonna be a filmmaker, remember, film is an art. It's subjective. There's always gonna be a crowd of people hating and a crowd that's loving the work that you do. So stand by your craft, stand by your style. Let the failures mold you and shape what becomes your style. You need to find your style, whatever it is, whatever your niche is, whatever your style is, whatever your thing is. You need to hone in on what that is if you're going to be successful in the future. But for now, just pump out the projects. Quantity over quality for now, in the beginning. Quantity is so important. Once you figure out what your thing is, which will come from quantity, then you can start honing in and focusing on not so much quantity, but more so quality. Number 4, refuse to spend. You don't need all this fancy gear. You don't need all this fancy lights and locations and all this stuff that eats up your time and eats at your budget. The only thing you need is story. Whatever your story is, if it's good, if it's quality, people will tune in. And you know what? They'll forgive the low quality because they're in love with your story. And number 5, the 5th thing is use people. For myself, I want to be a writer, director. If you want to be a director, your paintbrush are people with real lives, with real problems, with a craft of their own, whether it's actors, whether it's crew. Your job as the director is to work with those people and to collaborate and create something amazing. But I always heard from, these debates of whether to go to film school or not go to film school, and time again, at the end of these debates and at the end of these discussions, it's always, film school is good because it allows you to network with so many people, and it helps you build a crew, a core of people that are like-minded, that you can come together and use each other's resources to build upon. So that concludes my inspirational list. And if you like these videos, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to be making a whole lot more content. All right. Peace.
When you come home, there will be a parade.